Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Movie Critic Rob here with the Movie Channel, and today we're going to be talking about Transformers. The last night, I actually got to attend the Optimus Prime time screening for AMC. I got this cool shirt. It looks exactly like this. I got this little lanyard. Looks really awesome. I liked it. I like getting free stuff. So, without further ado, I went to the 7 o'clock showing and finally got around to be able to talk to you guys about Michael Bay's fifth installment in the Transformers franchise, Transformers: The Last Knight. This is, like I said, it's the fifth installment in the franchise, which, if I were honest, the Age of Extinction, the fourth one, breathed new life into the franchise, as far as I'm concerned. It was a fun movie. It was the longest, but it didn't feel as long, and I really enjoyed it. So I was really interested to see if they could keep it going with something fresh and something new, and enter in The Last Knight. I was really looking forward to the movie based on what I saw in the trailers. I didn't really see many trailers because I don't really like to watch a lot of trailers. I like to watch some, and then I know after the third trailer, or the second trailer, things get a bit spoilery, so I tend to stay away. But I went in, to be honest with you, I had heard so much about the movie from people that I went in not wanting to hate the movie, but expecting that I would hate the movie just because that's what everybody was saying. And that could not have been further from the truth. So what is Transformers 8: The Last Knight about? Well, Optimus Prime is, if you remember, at the end of Age of Extinction, gone to look for his creators. And we are left here on Earth, in an Earth that, once again, hates the Transformers and is now considering them illegal. So, once again, they're being hunted by the United States government and all the governments of the world, which are working together against the Transformers and anybody who aids and abets the Transformers. So, of course, now we have mysticism, mystical legends, and things ensue, this time having to do with a mythical figure from our past that I'm not going to spoil, just for, if you have not watched any trailers, I don't want to spoil anything for you. But that's really what it's about. And of course, it's another matrix of leadership, Allspark, which, and yeah, I know I probably seem like I'm being negative towards the film, and I'm not. So without further ado, let's get into the positives. What are the positives? Well, if there's one thing that separates Michael Bay from anybody else, it's that the man knows how to make a moment and knows that he's making movies for fans of this franchise that has been going on for a long time now, and therefore he has to pay off characters and do it right. And there's where he excels. I'm thinking about making a video comparing Michael Bay to Zack Snyder, because they're very similar, and yet one really, really succeeds where the other one really, really fails, and the box office earnings show that for their movies. And it's because Michael Bay knows how to craft a moment around a character and not just be new and artsy for the sake of being new and artsy. So that even though this movie had a lot of slow moments, when the movie wants to give it to you, like you're embracing the movie wholeheartedly because of what you're seeing on the screen. So with that, let me go to the negatives. Really, to be honest with you, the only negative, well, there's a few. The movie is slow to build up. I kind of compare it to Dark of the Moon in a way, just because Dark of the Moon was the longest build-up of all the movies thus far. And I kind of compare it to Dark of the Moon, just as far as how long it took to build everything up. But it was putting a lot in there. And once it really got going, then, it got going. Everybody's back. I love all the characters. Mark Wahlberg is fantastic in the movie. He's funny, and he's the hero that you want him to be. I really think he was a good replacement for Shia, and Shia actually shows up in the movie, but not how you might expect. So watch out for that. That's not a spoiler. That's just a little Easter egg I want y'all to watch out for. But everybody else pulls their weight. This movie, and I know I'm going to take a little bit longer on my non-spoiler section because I want to get this out. This movie is different from its predecessors, where all the predecessors revolved really around one character, and you had a lot of supporting characters around him. This one feels like there are 3-4 characters that are pulling the weight As far as on the human side, and between the four of them, they kind of shared that one story. Whereas, you know, you really went through the story in the first three movies with Sam Witwicky, and the fourth one was all about Mark Wahlberg. This one was really about Mark Wahlberg and two other characters that are with him. And I really didn't mind that. But because you have so many new characters, you have to set them up and, you know, give them the reason why they're there and the whole 9 yards. But once that long setup is done, we can enjoy the film. And the movie does offer a lot. I think I like what they did with Optimus Prime. It's a little nod to the comics. A lot of this movie had a lot of good nods to the comics, which I'm to the original shows and the comics, because they were comics too. And I really like that. I watched some of the comics or some of the shows. I keep wanting to say comics, so I keep reverting to Marvel Studios mentality. I did grow up on the shows a little bit. I actually got into the shows a little bit later, if I'm honest, because of the movies, actually. So that's something that if you people that hate Transformers, it's something that they did for me, was get me invested in the original movies and the original TV show. But they do pay off a lot of characters, and it's really good to see where they take the characters by the end of this movie. Like I said, the only negative is that there's sometimes, you know, it kind of seems a little muddled. But all the Transformers really do that, so it's really nothing that I didn't expect. It's just, it's funny because Age of Extinction was the longest of all of the movies thus far, and yet it really did not feel that it was that long. Whereas this one, which is one of the shortest films of the saga, feels a little long because of all the setup. But again, once it gets going, it's fantastic. And the setup is important, so it's not something that they could have just cut out, because you really need it to make sense at the end. So there is that. So final thoughts. I know I'm taking a little bit longer, but here's my final thoughts. Go and watch this movie. The Mummy is tanking right now, and I want to go and watch it again just to support it, because it's not bad. So go and support those movies, and especially this one. I'm pretty sure this one's going to make money, because they all have made money, all the Transformers movies. But go see it. I think it's one that you should see, and I think that if you're a fan, you're going to get some payoff. Some of the treatment of the characters, you might seem it may be a little off, but when the moments arrive, you know it, and they're powerful. I almost cried while watching this movie. There's one moment in particular that's so powerful, and it goes to show you what great things Michael Bay can do, and a lot of people don't give him credit for what he can do. So short, go out and watch this movie. I put it on my third film of the 5. I put the original, Age of Extinction, and this one right below it, tied with Dark of the Moon. I don't really know which one of the two will break that tie. We'll find out. So let's get into the spoiler section. I'm going to give you all a few seconds to clear the premises, as it were, so we can roll out on these spoilers. All right, so if you're here, I'm going to assume that you have seen the movie, or you don't really care, and I'm going to spoil stuff anyway that you just want to hear. So let's get into it. The movie does revolve around where we last saw Optimus Prime. He's going to see his creators. He crash lands on Cybertron and meets not the Quintessence, but Quintessa, who is one Quintesson. I don't know if she's the last one or what. How they're explaining just the existence of one when there are a lot in the original continuity. So there is that. And she basically is holding Prime responsible for the destruction of Cybertron, and is sending him out there to correct his wrongs under the name, dun dun dun, Nemesis Prime. Yes, we see Nemesis Prime in the movie. And he returns to Earth along with Cybertron in tow, to kill, are you ready for this? Unicron. Yes, he has arrived, although we don't really see him much in the movie. I have a feeling that the 6th one is going to be Unicron heavy, especially with the mid-credit scene that was there, that teases Unicron being risen, as it were. And the whole movie revolves around, it was very similar to Transformers Prime in that way, because Earth is Unicron and Primus is Cybertron, and so there's a war, and Quintessa wants to kill Unicron, but in so doing, she's going to kill the Earth. And so there's that struggle, and Optimus Prime shows up out of nowhere and just starts killing people after the staff of Merlin. That's the whole MacGuffin in this movie, is the staff of Merlin, that apparently can swing the tide of the war. If it's in Quintessa's hands, it'll drain the Earth of everything. If it's in the Earth's hands, of course, it'll stay out of the hands of Quintessa. So there is that little struggle. And there is the big fight that everybody was expecting. I know Transformers came into it a year late as far as the fights among friends, because we had Batman v Superman, we had Civil War, but now we have Optimus Prime versus Bumblebee on a showdown. And I like how they set up Bumblebee, how he used to be like, but he knows him as this nice little Autobot that doesn't hurt fly, the protector. He was a dude, like he was a killer, man, and they set it up perfectly so that when you see him sparring against Optimus, it makes sense, where it's not just, oh, he's the scout, he doesn't have any fight in him. He's got fight. And I like especially the ending where he got his voice back. I really like that. I like his voice in this one, and that was the moment that for me, and even now I'm getting a little choked because like he says to Optimus, I would lay down my life for you. Right as he's about to stab him and end him, and you're like so emotionally invested in this moment, he doesn't. And his eyes turn from that purple of Nemesis Prime back to the blue, and he's Optimus Prime. That was awesome. And then the knights come in, because there's knights involved, and these are the knights that used to guard Quintessa, but they realized she was a nut job and left to protect the humans. And they are going to kill Optimus because, of course, he is responsible for giving the staff back to Quintessa, because before he fights with Bumblebee, he gives the staff away. But Cade Yeager stops him with the sword, which is a seal that has been on his arm the entire movie, because he has been chosen as the leader of the human rebellion with the Autobots, just as King Arthur did in times past. Oh, it's so good. I'm telling you, when this movie gets going, it's one of the most emotionally satisfying movies of them all, because of the things that they're able to do with the lore and with the characters. And that's the thing about these movies. They really hadn't taken that deep of a dive into the Transformers lore, with the exception of a few, notable things. But this one really gets it. I love the Autobot or the Dinobots in this. I thought they were, they still haven't gotten their time to shine, and I want them to get more of a moment. But right now they're just there. So hopefully down the line, especially in maybe 6, we can get some more Dinobot moments. But they did get a little bit more than the last time, so there is that. Other than that, I really don't think there's much else as far as spoilers, but I really like this movie. I really want you to go see it, so let's close it out, shall we? This has been Movie Critic Rob with the Movie Channel, and now, Autobots, roll out.